Hey guys, and welcome back to a new video. Today's DIY is actually more of an upcycle, and it's one of my favourite DIYs to do. It's so simple, basically turning a pair of jeans into a skirt. So all you'll need is a pair of jeans that they either fit you, or these ones were actually a little bit small on my waist or on my hips, but I knew once I turned it into a skirt it would sit more on my waist. I marked from another skirt that I liked. I added a couple of inches onto the length because I wanted it to be a little bit more above my knee, and I just cut a straight cross on one leg. So I just flip that over and then use that basically as a guide to cut the other side. Make sure you're doing this as straight as possible. You could stop here with some nice shorts, or you could go in with your seam ripper or scissors and just rip up the seams on the inseam of the trousers. So mine were really easy to do because I had already altered the seams on these. Most jeans will have like a double seam, so it will be a little bit more tricky to seam rip those because it'd be two lines of stitches. Just take your time. Next thing you want to go in and do is rip up the crotch seam on the front and the back. So these were much trickier to do, as these were like the original seams, like the original double welt seam. So this took me a little bit of time to do, so I've sped it up for you guys. So this is just so that when we lie the skirt flat, that we can get it as flat as possible. Just repeat that on the back as well. So you can just see how here it's basically we're overlapping these pieces to make it lie flat. This would be a good point to try on the skirt as well. You could pin it on you to make sure that it's straight, because it can be really difficult to get, especially on the back seam, it can be really difficult to get it all lying flat without any bumps, because I actually did end up with a little bit of a bump in the back of my skirt, but it wasn't too bad, so I kind of just went with it. So the next thing you need to do is take one of the old legs of the jeans and seam up the side seam of this as well. I'm just going to use a little bit of this to fill in the gap in the back, basically, so a little triangle of fabric in the back. I had planned to fill in the front and the back, and then halfway through I kind of realised that my skirt was long enough that I could leave the triangle in the front as kind of a design feature, and I had seen a skirt like that on Instagram recently, so I really did want to try that. So you can either fill the front and the back or just the back. So just pin the seam flat as possible. Like I said, if you try it on as well in between pinning it, definitely try it on before you. So now we're just going to turn under the original seams as well, and then pin it down to the little piece of fabric underneath. And then you just want to trim that off as well, trim off the excess along the end. So I'm going to leave the hem raw. I'm not going to bother sewing that up. So I tried my skirt on. There was a little bit of a weird bump in it, so I ripped the back seam up a little bit further so that I could pull the one side over more onto the other side. Actually, I think it was a little bit too sticking out. It was like super A-line, almost like a little flare, so I wanted to pull the pieces in closer together so it was a bit more of a straight fit. So that's what I did. I ripped up the back and then I just pulled it over a little bit more. Just be careful not to pull it over too much, because that will again cause little bumps. And I just pinned it in place all over again. So as you can see at the bottom, the little triangle that we need to fill in is so much smaller, so that gap has really been closed up by pulling it over even more. So I just sewed up basically along all of the pins that I had in place, and you want to do 2 lines of stitches for this so that it kind of replicates the original sewing you have on denim. So you want to sew, and also it will keep the seams on the inside in case, so they won't be fraying too much. So just sew with a basic straight stitch. If you were doing this on a pair of maybe blue denim, you might want to use an orange thread to make it match the rest of the denim. You could actually, I did consider using a black thread on this to kind of make it like that cool black and white contrasting stitching that's been quite popular a little while ago, but I figured I'd just stick to the white. So just trying to give you a little close-up here of how I'm doing it. It is a little bit fiddly. You are sewing a few layers at a time. Just be careful not to sew the front of the skirt into the back of the skirt. I think I did do that at one stage. So yeah, once your 2 lines of stitches are done, you can try it on again. And there you go, guys, a really simple, really quick new skirt for summer. So as you can see, this sits a lot higher on my waist. It was originally like a mid-rise pair of jeans that didn't fit my waist. So yeah, really happy with how it turned out, because I really love white denim in summer. As you can see, there's a little bit of a bump at the back, but it's not too obvious and I'm not too upset about it. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial, and if you do, give it a go yourself. Do let me know in the comments or tag me in a photo on Instagram at Gemma DIYs, and I will see you guys very soon in my next video. Have a great week. Bye guys.